Hey guys, and welcome to ComicsBoi, a channel where I take your favorite comic book heroes and tell you the stories involving them whenever an arc is complete. Today we look at Civil War II. The story has been divided into two parts, and the first part is already out on our channel, so make sure you check it out. It went through issue 1 to 4, and this one goes through issues 5 to 8, plus the Steve Rogers tie-ins, issue 5 and 6. We then move into the very critical Steve Rogers tie-in. I'm just going to go over this one very quickly. We find out that on the day the heroes were celebrating at Tony's, Steve planned to have the entire place shot down by Hydra agents. But after he found out about the Inhuman Elysius, he told them to stand down. Steve Rogers is then having a discussion with Selvig about whether they should kill Elysius, and with the one person who could expose them and Jack Flag, it's better to just kill Elysius. The night Steve Rogers went to kill him was the same night that Stark arrived to kidnap him. Steve and Selvig then discuss how they can manipulate his visions instead. Steve then makes Selvig compile a report on gamma radiation and have it mailed to Bruce Banner. They gave him a pen drive on how to cure gamma radiation, and Banner immediately started working on it. Steve then explains why it was so easy to cause rage, distrust, death, arrogance, and weakness among the heroes. It was because they always hated each other. All they needed was a push to go to war. Steve Rogers then gets an email about the briefcase lady and discovers that she has nothing to do with Hydra, meaning the boy can be wrong. He gives Stark's research to Selvig so he can do more work on Elysius, and Steve goes to tell Red Skull. Red Skull says he wants Elysius alive, and Steve must be very careful in getting him, the boy. If you guys want to know more about why Steve Rogers is Hydra and trying to kill anyone, we already have a video on that, so go check it out. Moving back to the Civil War II event, the two sides are charging into each other. We then cut to Medusa leaving with the royal family to get to the battle and help Captain Marvel. Elysius stays behind. We then see Iron Man and Captain Marvel blasting each other. Carol tells him that he forgot she can absorb energy, but he just says, "No, he didn't." And Carol gets shocked. Tony tells her he prepared for the future of fighting her without getting any Avengers killed. We see Doctor Strange fight the X-Men, Nova and Luke Cage fight Blue Marvel, the female Hawkeye is fighting Aurora, the whole scene is absolute chaos. We see that the fight is being broadcasted by everyone. The superheroes are trying to rip each other's heads off. Who wouldn't want to see this? We then see Magic teleport Sam Wilson away from the fight. We see Spider-Man knock out Rocket Raccoon before Venom pops up and fights Spider-Man. We then see Tony and Star-Lord have a quick talk after Tony hacks the mask. Tony says he thought they were friends, and Star-Lord says, "Yeah, we are, but I'm closer to Carol." Then the Guardian ship explodes and the Guardians look shocked. But then, the Inhumans pop up. "Great, their backup has backup," said Tony. Tony is about to get hit by Karnak before Carol screams, "Mine!" and punches him across the face. Tony then says he's getting weird readings, but Carol tells him to shut up, and then things coming out of Elysius grab around everyone and show them Miles Morales stabbing Steve Rogers in the Capitol building. Miles crashes to the ground and pulls his mask up to breathe, not revealing his identity, though just half of it. Kamala Khan rushes towards him and tells him that it's not going to happen. Captain Marvel then goes towards Miles and tells him he's under arrest. Carol calls for a ceasefire and then tells Miles they need to do what's right. And then Tony says, "Right according to who?" Tony then argues with Carol, saying that in the short time Miles has been an Avenger, he hasn't done anything wrong. He says she's turning on kids now. He says she's becoming a villain. Carol fights back, and then Steve comes in between them and says, this is up to him. He tells Miles to put the half mask that he pulled up back on. It means something. It means that he is Spider-Man. And that matters to people. Miles says he would never do that. He's a massive fan of Captain America, and Steve says he knows. Steve also says Miles should go home. Carol argues that they can keep him safe, but Steve says he hasn't done anything yet. Neither did Bruce. Neither did Rhodey. Carol stays quiet, and Thor takes Miles away. But just as Carol's about to chase them, Miss Marvel stops her and says that Spider-Man is her friend. He's not going to do anything wrong. Director Hill says all of them are under arrest for attacking government property, and Tony Stark just says, "Pfft," and you can quote me on that. The Iron Man suit gets ready for battle, but then Black Panther tells everyone to stop. He can no longer defend the Inhuman with inaccurate visions and says that if S.H.I.E.L.D. attack him, they declare war on Wakanda. Doctor Strange then teleports all of Team Iron Man away, and then Carol asks Medusa if they can use Lockjaw to track them, but Medusa says no, and then goodbye as the Inhumans leave the battlefield. Miles tells Thor to drop him and says he needs some alone time. Thor says she understands and leaves him alone. Star-Lord tells Captain Marvel that she is right and she needs to stand up for what she believes in. Carol smiles until Rocket says he wants a new ship, and not one of those Earth ones. We then see Team Iron Man in a bunker. They agree they need to find Thor and Miles, but the teenage heroes Riri, Kamala, Nova, Young Cyclops, and Kate Bishop all just leave. Tony and the rest discuss how to find out if this vision can be true. They decide that they need to go to the area the event took place, the Capitol steps, with Captain America and Spider-Man there. Carol Danvers is sitting outside staring at the city before Jean Grey, Storm, Star-Lord, and Maria Hill come to confront her. They then decide they need to find Miles, but then Maria says, "We know where he is. On the steps of the Capitol building." We see the Inhumans approach Ulysses to ask questions, but he's lost in a vision. We see a man about to eat Ulysses, but then Logan chops him in half. Ulysses asks if that was the Hulk, but Logan just says it was one of his kids. Tell the other he finished the Hulk, once and for all. Ulysses asks for help. He doesn't know where he is, and Logan just looks at him, confused. We then see Miles on the Capitol building waiting for Captain America. Logan then asks Ulysses what he is, and he says Inhuman. Logan says all of them are gone, and when Ulysses asks what happened, Logan said Tony Stark happened. Carol and Maria discuss that they need Spider-Man to come to them, and then they ask, "Where's Steve?" The police around him threaten to shoot if he doesn't remove his mask, but all Miles says is, "No thanks, I'm fine." Maria then calls the police to stand away and leave the scene, and they do just that. And then Steve Rogers appears. Back to Ulysses, he realizes he can't leave till he finds out what the vision is, and then Logan tells him he pushed her too far. But before Logan can say who she is, Ulysses disappears. Ulysses realizes it was Captain Marvel that Tony pushed too far, and tells Medusa to call for Carol to cease fire. We then see Steve and Miles talk about how they are both there to prove the vision wrong, and then Captain Marvel shows up. She tells him they need to hand over Miles to save Steve, and says she's doing this for everyone. We then see Miles trapped in a bubble, and Carol screams for Tony to fight her like a hero. We then see Captain Marvel and Tony Stark fight it out on the steps of the Capitol. We then see Maria Hill in a video call with the Inhumans, and Medusa tells them to tell Carol to stop. Maria asks what's going to happen, but Ulysses begins to fade out again. Medusa says just tell her to stop. Stark and Carol continue to fight, and Tony blows missiles that miss Carol and blow Steve away. We then see the Inhumans seeing Ulysses fade out, and then they have Lockjaw teleport all of the Inhumans to the fight scene while Carol and Tony are still punching each other. Then we see Carol blast Tony's suits to bits. Tony then falls to the ground, but Ulysses takes everyone to their future. They see monsters and Karnak. They see the X-Men attacking and Nova trying to stop them. They see Miles Morales holding the dead body of Steve Rogers. They see a machine attacking every Inhuman. They see a head above and all the heroes down and defeated. They see Carol Danvers, the last one standing against Ultron. They see Loki charge at Odin's son Thor, meaning that he picks up the hammer again. We then see Ulysses join a cosmic entity and leave the heroes. We then see Miles hold the unconscious body of Tony Stark. Beast tells Carol that Ulysses evolved past them and that he was better now. He also tells her that he's uncomfortable trying to fix Tony and believes he was experimenting on himself for a long time. We also find out that Tony believed Carol could do the profiling thing well, but whoever followed her may not be able to. He was thinking like a futurist. We then see Carol in the White House talking to the president, and the president asks if she has any ideas, and she says she has plans for the future. So that's the end of Civil War II, but you're probably wondering, what's going on with Steve Rogers? We see him in the bunker with Selvig, and Selvig asks how he can be so calm after seeing that he may die before the rise of Hydra, and Steve tells him that while everyone was looking at him dying, He saw the surroundings and learned that he will die. But it will be after the rise of Hydra. There was destruction all over them. And that makes his death worth it. So that's the conclusion to the Civil War II story. If you enjoyed it, smash the thumbs up button and subscribe. Personally, I felt the story had a good first 4 issues, but just lost its way towards the end. I mean, they spent 7 pages telling us what's going to happen next. I don't get that. Well, anyways, tune in next time, subscribe for more content, schedule down below for next week's videos. The Champions video is delayed, sorry about that, guys. But it will come out soon. Anyways, peace.